It's the Caitlin MTGO Show.
And then I come across a table, and Yuya and Nakamura are sitting across from each other. I'm like, oh, well, that's just what I was looking for. And I go up and I explain the situation, ask if either of them want to draft. And Nakamura knows better English than Yuya did, so he like translates for me. And Yuya's down. So I go back and I find Calcano, and I'm like, yeah, I found Yuya to be our third. And he's like, okay, sweet. And we sit down, and the enemy team, the opposing team that was like looking for teammates, is a group of Florida drafters. And Florida has like a very, at least at the time, had a very active money draft scene. A lot of people like hustling each other and grinding and making money and stuff. And we sit down, and we all agree to play for 20s. And the opposing team, one of them teases his friend, and he's like, "You usually try to get somebody to play for 50s. What's going on here?" And he's like, and he just looks at him like he's the dumbest motherfucker alive. And he's like, "You don't know who we're playing against, do you?" Like, it's just like the derision in his voice. I guess I'll take Arid Mesa here, Anyway, I drafted this like super fast Infect deck. Calcano also drafted it, an aggro deck. Yuya drafted this like slow-looking blue-black control deck that I didn't think looked very good for the format. And he finished all 3 matches before either of us had finished our second match. Athari. Did we win? Yes. We did, in fact, win. There's some new white cards added. I wouldn't mind playing with them. They're like Hate Bear-esque sort of things. Oh, there's the new Elspeth, too. 5-mana thing. Looking at Oliphant. I guess I want Wandering Emperor. I'm always medium on if I want this card in my aggro decks. But it does some good things. Let's get a Mox Diamond up in this. You're still looking into the sleeves incident? Yeah, really unfortunate. I had played against him once at a limited GP, and I was ahead on board. Like, I had 3/3/5s or something. My whole deck was like Siege Mastodons. Siege Mastodons and Mind Rots was like just my deck. And I had like 3/3/5s, and he just seemed like extremely not worried, and then peeled a Frost Titan off the top and bodied me. Which obviously doesn't mean anything, right? Which obviously doesn't mean that he knew he was going to draw the Frost Titan or anything. But when an incident comes out where somebody was DQ'd for marked cards or something, you just like wonder. You wonder about like all of these other situations. And he was so good. Like, he was like undeniably an extremely strong Magic player. Like, he didn't need to cheat to just consistently do well. Very odd stuff. Very perplexing. Some people just can't help themselves. Yeah. Typically, when someone gets caught like that, though, there's like a history of it, too. And I don't think there was anything like that for Yuya. I had never heard any scummy stories or anything like that. You think cheaters decide that variance is bad? Yeah, that's like the logic that some of them give. That they like deserve the win. That's how they like justify it to themselves. Can someone give context on the marked cards combo? Well, we were just talking about the Yuya incident from years and years ago. We can't give the whole context. It's like a story that led to a ramble that led to another story. I was not intending to go in that direction. It was just unavoidable. Yeah, red looks very not open based on this first pack, There's a chance we end up playing black instead, right? Just because black is a lot more open. I'll leave these cards out, just in case. But we have an Arid Mesa, we have an Athari. Those are good cards. Should be like really easy to splash the Athari, if nothing else. Yeah, nobody expected it, right, Emma? I haven't heard anything about him either since then. Oh shit, what up? Hey, Subtle Hustle thinks that 28 months there. It's that time again. It is that time again. Anyone interested in the Oblivion remaster? You're gonna give it a little, then try it out? I think I have, like, negative interest in that. Thinking about this Inti, thinking about Intrepid. Intrepid's, like, not that much worse than Inti, huh? Sometimes it's really good on some boards. Being able to anthem and such. Parallax Wave. Now there's a good card. There's this Light Shatter. I drafted the Light Shatter in my last deck, hoping to get to play it. I haven't gotten to play it yet. Hard for me to take it over Parallax Wave, though, huh? Gotcha, Forever Sleepy. A little Sacred Foundry business. All right, all right. Well, the mana for the splash is certainly there. Hey, BSP4, thanks to the sub, thanks to 11 months there. Working interwebs and a live Caleb stream. Hell yeah. That Virtual Loyalty doesn't look bad. I kind of want this Gaia's Cradle. I think this Cradle's going to be good. I think we're going to have the creature count for it. Like a better Ancient Tomb. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Another reason to be in red. Back in the day, during the SCG series, I had, like, a lot of exposure to random people doing opportunistic cheats. There were like shuffle cheaters. There were people like Alex that just did like everything and anything he thought he could get away with like a degree of plausible deniability, right? And just like abused communication errors. Watched him attempt to cheat a few times. I also stopped him from stealing from a friend of mine once. It was really... So, like, most of the cheaters that I got to know very well started out as friends of mine because we're, like, playing the same tournaments, and they're, like, very charismatic and open, and generous. Generous with their collections, generous with their time. That's, like, how they establish trust, right? Is they're, like, lending you cards and letting people borrow their cubes, that sort of thing. Alex was, like, famous for that. And that makes you want to defend a person, right? That makes you want to stand up for him, even when the evidence is pointing in the opposite way. I certainly had like some denial and bargaining and stuff with Alex. Hey, there's that Elspeth card. Let's throw that in here. Yeah, there was a time he was staying at my place for the first TCG Player Invitational. And he was trading with a friend, and they had all arranged a price point for cards, right? And they were all I think they were the unglued duels. He had like a stack of foil unglued duels. And they went through and they like meticulously arranged price points for all the cards that Alex was going to trade for these duels. And then as he's as they're like finalizing the trade, Alex is like taking one of the duels, and then he's like, and then two of these. So he's like taking the card and then putting the other cards that are the same value on the stack, and then he'll take one of the foil duels and one of the other ones. And he just starts speeding up. And I'm like, why is he doing that? I'm like watching this happen. Ooh, Stoneforge for Cauldron complete. There's no reason to be speeding up doing this. Like, you're trading hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of cards. Why are you zooming like this? There's no reason. So I key in, and I'm just like watching his hands very fucking closely. And then I see him like slip two of the fucking foil lands in instead of one. And his hands are just a blur, so the person he's trading with doesn't notice. And then like I reach in to stop them, and I have to like back them up on like 3 trades because he's been going so fast. I'm like, hold the fuck on. Back up, back up, back up. And then when I point it out, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, okay. All right, guy. And then we were cube drafting later that same week. And he's like vamp tutoring to hand and stuff. I was like, what are you doing? We're not even playing for anything. Are you just like practicing? What is this shit? And then that actual TCG player event, there was an incident where he was pre-boarding against Darwin Castle. It was a very weird time, though. Like Alex was the face of the SCG tour at that point. And I remember, like, the head judge, there was an incident where the head judge came and talked to Alex, and he's like, you need to stop having so many judge calls and stuff because it makes us look bad. It's like, this is not how you handle a cheater. What are you doing? Yeah, let's splash this recall, huh? We got a Mox Diamond. We can splash whatever. We got a Generous Plunder that can spit out treasure. And Ocelot Pride. I'll take one of those. Ocelot Pride, Guide of Souls. You think those cards go well together? I'll take a Pyrogoyf. Why not? What are we talking about? Just old stories. Just really old stories. Like, all of this was over a decade old, right? It's not new things. Yeah, this recall splash is starting to look pretty good, huh? Got that Arid Mesa. But hard not to be reminded sometimes of, like, this is not something I'm going to get over with because you find out someone's is, like, not what you thought they were. Alex is also the first person that I ever vintage cubed with. We cubed together a lot. I had another friend cheat against me. This fucking Michael Paz game. We were at this is a person who, like, when I first moved to the Chicago area, I didn't know anybody, and he, like, invited me to his family's house for Thanksgiving. So I would have, like, defended him till the ends of the earth. And I had defended him when someone had accused him of cheating before. I was like, no, that guy's super nice. What are you talking about? He would never do that. I'm going to take the image here. Like, blue's just a light splash, but we do have this Pyrogoyf, and imaging Pyrogoyf is so fun. But these 1-drops are quite good, in my opinion. And then we got paired against each other in round 1 of a PTQ, and he, like, rebought a bolt against me. He, like, slowed down the game such that, like, your eyes are about to roll back in your head because he's taking such a long tank. And then he main phase bolted me, which is, like, a weird fucking line. And when I went to mark my life total, he put the bolt back in his hand. And 2 people were watching the match, and they're like, Posgay, that goes in your fucking grave. What are you doing? What are you doing? And he had so many allegations up to that point. He eventually got disqualified for, like, pressuring an opponent to scoop to him, which we joked was kind of like getting Capone on tax evasion, because he'd drawn extras in so many tournaments and kept on getting game losses for it. Just getting away with it because GPs were understaffed and stuff. Of course, now we don't even have a DCI, so who knows if that stuff even gets tracked. Hey, Untouched Marlin thinks 83 months there. Is it one of them funny numbers? Any number's a funny number if you look at it funny. Oh, sure, spaghetti. Yeah, sometimes weird stuff happens. I could see a universe. Ooh, we could play this card. I can never play this card. I'm never, like, aggressive enough. I don't have the creature count when I'm in Jeskai. Usually I'm, like, Jeskai control. I wonder if we can't play the Cradle because of color concerns now. Is this an open event or just for streamers? Anyone, you're talking about the pre-join thing? They only happen on Mondays and Tuesdays before the new cube. They do it every single time. You come in here and you plug 2025 April and redeem. Whatever the code is, they're going to put it in their article. This time it's this one. You get 2 chips for free entry things. They're best of 1. You can try out the new cube for free. You get 2 tickets. It is not a streamer-only thing. Regular Vintage Cube single limb is up, but it's kind of fun to play with the new cards, and I feel like I'm doing a public service by letting folks know that this is a thing that's up. I always get people that are surprised by it and have questions and stuff, but they do it every single season. I wonder about that Jetmir's Garden, huh? That comes to play tap land. It does make the mana slightly better. Didn't energy stop that one dude from competing in any other events? Yeah. But, like, if the DCI was a thing, that person could be not competing in any Magic events, right? It seems better to me. Can do this on my main and my Daybreak account. I could do that. I did that last time. I don't know if I'm going to do that this time, though. Because there's regular Vintage Cube up, too. I'm going to do actual drafts. Thinking about my last cut here. I might cut, like, this Descendant of Storms. Let's play it, huh? Let's play the new card. See if it's, like, much better than the one it replaced. They're just, like, rated to make a 1/1. In that case, what's my cut? Maybe Wandering Emperor. Annoying that sideboard cards mean nothing in best of 1. Yeah, one of the changes they made was to sideboard cards, too. Alright, what's our count look like? It's like 13, 14-ish white sources. How much blue mana do we want before we look at the count? Probably like 5 or 6, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's like really good. But we want something similar for red, and they only have 1 mountain here. For red, they have 6, and for blue, they have 7. Let's just pad it up. Go -1 white. I think that's fine. Ooh. We got some because of play tap lands, so I'm just firing off the recall. Yeah, the new cube is live tomorrow, Luna Beam. And it's a preview, but it is just like, I don't know, there's only so many cards different from the previous one. So you could champion the Onslaught Pride and Servant, but they both just block with a cat token and the Ajani flips, then we kind of lose. kind of just lose on the spot. I'm going to run this thing out. I get Treyu, thanks to 48 months there. Hooray for Cube! I agree. My one regret this game was not being on the play. Johnny's so busted. Johnny's fucking busted. Hopefully I can clear with this Pyroglyph. And just, like, not have to worry about that, Interesting. If I was them, I just would have, like, killed my Cat Warrior, flipped to Johnny. Used that to murder the Pride. Maybe they have more burn spells. Maybe they have other plans. Print Pyroglyph into modern new cowards, yeah, right? They do have mana. Was not got, though. We got a pretty zesty combination here with the Parallax Wave and the Containment Priest. Could just be game-winning. The Raptor cometh, sure. We can take 4. Basically, if they double block there, it saves me a Parallax counter. So I don't mind giving them the option. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it die naturally, and then flash it in the priest next turn. Gives me a turn to get this Athari down. Baits out any removal they have before I priest, so they don't get their board back. Ooh, Teferi. Teferi would have been sick last turn, like to play this turn. Because then I could play the Teferi. I could play the Containment Priest so they don't get anything back. Like, with the Teferi in play, they wouldn't be able to respond to the Teferi down tick, too. So I could go Teferi, play the Containment Priest, down tick on Parallax Wave. They lose their whole board, and we get to replay the Parallax Wave. Just, like, the filthiest thing ever, I don't think I need that upkeep stop button. I said it, whatever. Yeah. That's about right. Blue Splash looking pretty good that game. Looking pretty alright. I hope I get to use this Saya. Unfortunate that we have these two in our hand, because it makes me really want to keep the hand, but I don't think you can keep the rest of this, right? So Athari is nutty. Normally I would keep Athari. I want to keep this Elspeth in hand. Gotta try out the new cards, right? In our free draft. That's like kind of the point, right? Bottom the land and keep 2 5-drops? No. Foundation's Jumpstart not being legal in Modern or Standard was such a failure. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they're printing standard sets that aren't standard legal. Like, Foundations is a standard set, so, like, why are they... What are they doing? They, didn't they, like, do something weird? They're doing, like... Doing something weird with Universes Beyond. They, like, couldn't get the... They decided to make the Spider-Man set standard legal, but people are hypothesizing that they couldn't get the rights for it to be, like, an online digital set. So we're just getting, like, different versions of all those cards. I do appreciate that we're at least getting the cards to play with. It seems like a headache to learn two different names for all the cards. I do dislike that. I dislike it when they do it for the Universes Beyond stuff, and then, like, you have to learn, like, the Lord of the Rings name for Wasteland or whatever. Not a fan, but at least standard will be standard. Like, you'll be able to play the same decks in paper or in Arena or Magic Online. Because for a while, Legacy was not synced up, and that was an idea that was floated to make them the same format. Anything but, like, having them be different. That is, I think, the worst case scenario with Universes Beyond, is that the sets literally don't line up and you literally can't play the same decks. That's heinous to me. So I don't think it's the worst case scenario, but it does seem like they should have been able to, predict that they might have rights issues with fucking Spider-Man of all things. We're getting a red source here. I would love a Surveil to try and find a play, but we need a red mana, huh? We need some kind of red. Hey, there we go. There's play. Yeah, who could have foreseen issues with putting third-party IP into Standard? So they missed their land drop last turn. I wonder if this call to complete is just going to get to come down, huh? You're happy the format will be mechanically the same? Yeah. Like I said, that is, like, having been, like, a Legacy fan for years and years, and having had to play with Legacy without the formats being combined, I do think that is the nut low. Extremely frustrating. So at least that's not the case. Credit where credit's due. It could be worse. Oh, they got back the Grief to take the call to complete. Nice. You know they think this will make all the money, but you can't get on board with Spidey and Final Fantasy and Standard. Yeah, I'm not huge on it, but I'm not really like the target audience for Universes Beyond. Just bounce through Overlord. Yeah, I want a down tick anyway. Because I shouldn't have played my land. I guess we, like, gave them a way to get back Grief now. I can get back Grief and get a third card. Hey, Elspeth. No, there's nothing else for Stoneforge. You're not convinced it'll make all the money? I mean, the Universes Beyond stuff's been, like, very popular, right? And, like, if you follow card shop owners, they have all these stories of people coming in and being like, hey, I wanted the cards from this thing. It's like getting them into the game or getting them back into the game. I think in terms of like introducing new players, it's been wildly successful and it's making a lot of money, and that's why they keep on doing it. Like they're not just doing it for funsies, right? Like they're extremely profit motivated. Let's do tokens again, and then next turn we can Anthem. Seems good to me. Marvel in particular does have a ton of collectors, yeah. All those comic book collectors. You think Final Fantasy will make more than Spider-Man? Interesting. I would bet against that, but I don't have any special information. I don't know shit. The IP costs money. Yeah, they do like a split revenue thing, right? That's why like Universes Beyond product always seems to have a higher like pack cost. Final Fantasy folks have deep pockets. Yeah. So it's very hard for me to remove all that. Anything that like brings more players to Magic. Hard to be too mad about it. Even with something that I like, you know, have my issues with, like Universal Beyond. Give me your eyeballs to eat. Yes, give me your eyeballs, your delicious, tasty eyeballs. Oh, I should set an alarm. I got a show I'm going to later. So the show starts at 7. I probably want to shower and get some dinner. I'll set an alarm for 6:55. Monopoly Go's making a killing. I believe it. I see so many fucking ads for that. And I'm like, this looks horrendous. This is just Monopoly. What are people doing? Did my life as a streamer change at all since Trump took office? No, not yet. So, my life as an American citizen will obviously be changing. Like, a lot of costs are going to go up with the tariff wars and stuff. A lot of the things that I need for my business, for my day-to-day, don't need to be replaced very often, right? Like, a lot of my computer parts are made internationally. If I need to replace my rig, I'm sure I'll be spending like an extra $1,000 or something now. But that's a long ways in the future. I bought like a pretty hot computer when it needed to be replaced last time. Every time I do that, I future-proof it so it's just not something I have to worry about every other year. But as a U.S. citizen, I'm not really thrilled about, you know, America looking worse on the international stage. I'm not like thrilled about the value of my currency going down. Obviously, international markets always have winners and losers. But I'm allowed to not be thrilled about that, right? None of it's predictable, subtle hustle. Whatever is like the case today might not be the case to tomorrow. He keeps on like adding stuff and removing stuff, and I wouldn't put much stock in whatever is currently the case, which makes it hell for like companies, right? Like companies can't make decisions because they don't know what's going to be the case next month, if it all just gets rolled back or if it gets more stuff added or what have you. Just taking the 2 damage is reasonable here. Yeah, I don't blame you, Crow's Tongue. Oh yeah, Colio. People who used to have federal jobs now have time to tune in and watch me during the weekday. That is scraping for a silver lining for sure. I was going to bounce this 6, Make sure they don't find anything too groovy. I do like that it juiced up my Pyrogoyf here a little bit. Opponent's got something here. Is this just Endurance? Float 3 mana, untap. Interesting. As someone who was planning to move to the US, oh yeah, you're just not now. That makes sense. It's sad, but it makes sense to reconsider. Logical sense. A few years ago, like last year and stuff, we were considering whether it was like correct to move. And we kind of made the decision to stay here for a lot of different reasons. We really like Madison. The politics are good. The vibes are good. We have friends here. All the reasons that people stay. It's also like hell to move, and I'm sure it would not be easier to move to another country. So we like already went through that decision-making process, and even though there's like more of a reason to move now, I don't think it's enough to like open up that can of worms again. I think we're just gonna be here for a while, hunker down. Hopefully, stuff can be rebuilt in the aftermath. Minsk and Boo. Interesting. I kind of want the Teferi to die now. Your two friends that went to UW-Madison never left because they loved it so much. Right. It's a great place to live, in my opinion. 6 is recast, sure. Awesome. Very happy that this Teferi is dying, because that makes the Pyroglyph a 4/5, which means it gets to clear the Minsk and Boo, which is much better than losing to this Minsk and Boo, which is what I would be doing otherwise. Although they still have that 6, Oh, well, we'll make them have the land, to rebuy it. And if we get to untap with the Pyroglyph, which seems likely with the Mother of Runes in play, if we get to untap with this Pyroglyph, we do have Image for it, right? Which is obviously very, very good. So hopefully that all comes together. You lived in Madison and Seattle, and while both are great, you loved Seattle most. Seattle is really cool. I like the market in Seattle. The vibes there are good as well. I like the weather in Madison a little bit better. But there's, like, obviously nothing wrong with liking Seattle. When I was, there was a couple times in my life where I was considering where I wanted to move next. And the top of my list were the Twin Cities, Portland, and Madison. And then there was a moment where I was, yeah, I think I want to get this Guide of Souls down, Yeah, cloning Pyroglyph is fucked up. Yeah, there's a moment where I actually got to make the choice, got to make that decision. Does Guide of Souls target? Yeah, so I don't want to do that with the cloned Pyroglyph, of course. Or I'm sorry, I wasn't given like the active choice. I was living in St. Louis, and my housing situation rapidly deteriorated. It was like a pretty fine house for a little bit, but then the person that I knew in the house moved out, and the other people were like a little aggressive, for me to put it extremely diplomatically. And I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I just like made a post on Facebook. I was like, do any of my friends have an open room? And my buddy Ben Rasmussen here in Madison messaged me and was like, yo, I got you. Let's draw a card. Why not? You're glad I moved to Madison? Hey, thanks, Adam. I think it worked out pretty well for little old meme. I think the guide is going to jump itself here. Or maybe it's better to jump this descent thing. Yeah, it's probably better. You grew up in the Appalachians, and out in the Midwest, you're freaked out seeing the horizon. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Wisconsin's not especially steep, that's for sure. All this endurance is pretty fucked up, huh? Because they get to shrink the pyroglyphs. Nice. Although they are still 3/4s. But now the chariot gets to eat the clone, for example. Yeah, the glaciers, in the Ice Age, when the glaciers creeped down over North America, they just like fucking bulldozed straight over Wisconsin. Carved out the Great Lakes. Smoothed it out, no mountains here. I think I want to keep my flyer, Is the Preview League a special event? Yep, it's only up on Mondays and Tuesdays before the new cube rollout, which happens tomorrow. Is the Great Lakes an exciting feature to live next to? Yeah. Not all the lakes are equal, Fast No Head. I hear that Lake Erie is, like, super dirty and shit. Like, polluted. But Lake Superior is really cool. It's an excellent fucking lake. It's better. What's another word for better? Oh, wow. Well, I guess there just isn't one. And Michigan's okay. It's huge. It's a little bit less good than Lake Superior. It's a little bit more polluted and such. But it's not a bad lake. The official lake tier list. Well, I haven't like fucking canoed on all of them, you know. It's not fair. It wouldn't be fair for me to make a tier list. Maybe chat could help me out. The weather in winter? Yeah. I kind of wonder why they didn't use Caracas to reset their chariot on their turn. Get a couple more cat tokens. I guess they would have had to, like, crew it and replay, but then they still have the same number of blockers, right? Yeah, not sure what they could rip from here. Maybe Natural Order for Atraxa would be a way to win this game. I don't think Tracker's going to do it for him. You live in an RV, so it was a pretty solid no. I mean, I grew up in northern Wisconsin, where it was colder, and some of my friends lived in RVs fine. Maybe a little more expensive to heat, I don't know. Hey, we got ourselves a little 3-0 there. Maybe the actual queue isn't going to fire as quickly as people are jamming them.